Any bill introductions? I have two this morning. The first is RS 0520, an act concerning public assistance relating to medical assistance, requiring the Secretary of Health and Environment to request a waiver from the United States Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services to end participation in certain expenditure authorities under the CanCare demonstration. And the second one is are there any objections to that being introduced? Seeing none, that bill is introduced. The second is RS 0797, an act concerning public assistance relating to medical assistance requiring approval by an act of the legislature prior to any state agency seeking or implementing a Medicaid state plan amendment, state demonstration or waiver under Section 1115 or 1915 of the Federal Social Security Act that expands coverage or increases costs to the state. Are there any objections to that being introduced? Seeing none, that is introduced. Committee items, I want to turn it over to Senator Billinger for a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I have some students from Goodland High School with the JAG-K here today. Would you please stand up? And would you all introduce yourselves?
I am the JAG-K specialist, so Jobs for America's graduate specialist.
If you all would please come to the microphone so people online can hear who is in attendance today. All of you, please, so that everyone can hear who is in the audience today.
All right. Hey, guys, we just learned this. Push the button. Rebecca Brace, the Goodland JAG-K specialist, Jobs for America's graduates at Goodland High School, and I have my 4 officers here today.
My name is Monte Mendez. I'm the president of JAG-K, and I'm from Goodland, Kansas.
I'm Adelaide Brace. I am the vice president at Goodland Junior Senior High School.
I am Angelina Yanez. I'm Angelina Yanez Rubel. I am the parliamentarian at Goodland Junior Senior High School.
Hello, my name is Isaiah Douglas. I am the secretary at our local chapter JAG-K program, as well as the regional vice president for our JAG-K program.
Thank you all for being here today and for taking time to come see how one of the committees works. Thank you.
Welcome to committee. Let's give them a welcome. Committee, as promised, I've been plugging this day for a couple of weeks now. We do have with us the insurance commissioner for the state of Kansas, Vicki Schmidt, who's going to present to us on some of the things that they have done around government efficiency. So welcome to committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's a pleasure to be here. Before I start, I just want to say that as a fellow Wichita, I'm so sorry about the recent events and the tragedy of the crash, and know that our thoughts and prayers are with all the families that are experiencing loss today. So thank you. I also wanted to say that the insurance department has the insurance department and the securities area, and we actually work with JAG-K. And I hope all of you are getting ready to submit an essay to us, because we actually award a scholarship through the 529 plans for our winners of that contest. And so I get to go out and see JAG-K students in during that time, and it's fantastic. It's I'm really glad that we support that in Kansas. So, Madam Chair and members of the committee, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today. I have to tell you, I think I'm a little bit jealous. I would have loved serving on a committee like this when I was in state government, and there just wasn't one. But I'm pretty sure there are a few agencies that are glad that I wasn't on this committee. I have led the Kansas Department of Insurance since 2019. One of the first things I noticed when I came was that when we would assist people, they would thank us profusely for helping them. They were over the top graciousness. And at first I thought, well, you know, that's kind of Kansas kind. We're kind people in Kansas, and that's just what we do. But unfortunately, I think that there is a fundamental belief among Kansans that government just isn't interested in helping them, and that it's actually incompetent at times. So when they got help from a government agency, they were simply overjoyed. Right now, Kansans have zero expectation that the government can help them. It's something that I work on every day to change. Many of you know I am a pharmacist. I have spent a lot of time one-on-one with people helping them navigate the very complicated world of healthcare and insurance. But one of the reasons I became a pharmacist is to help people, and that's exactly what we get to do every day through our Consumer Assistance Division at the department. The Department of Insurance is one of the best kept secrets in Kansas. I've said it, and I'm going to keep saying it until every Kansan knows that the department has resources to help them in insurance and securities. But I think we've made progress, and we continue to make that progress. After my first year in office, which was 2019, the Consumer Assistance Division had recovered $2 million. Last year, in 2024, we recovered $11.8 million. In addition to those efforts, our Consumer Assistance Division has also assisted Kansans with the NAIC's life insurance policy locator. After my first year in office in 2019, we recovered $2.5 million, and last year in 2024, we recovered over $25 million. Year after year, we have put more money back in the pockets of Kansans. Our total for both since I took office is over $144 million. I am incredibly proud of this and incredibly proud of our staff. I believe that I am the only elected official that will ever stand before you and say, bring me your complaints. I want to know I want to know the problems that you're having. It is my job, and I just can't say that often enough. We don't always get a perfect outcome, but we can't even begin to help if we don't know about it. And I am a firm believer, and I was when I served in the Senate, that, you know, people deserve answers to their questions. I don't always like the answers we get, but we're going to get you the answer. And if we aren't the right agency, we are going to do our best to get you to the right agency. We do have contacts with our federal partners and other agencies in Kansas. Year after year, I have told the legislature that one of my priorities is to make Kansas a great place to do business. And for me, that starts with running an efficient operation that reduces red tape and prioritizes service. I never want to live in an echo chamber. I think many voices are necessary to serve in a role like this. I instituted several routine touch points with stakeholders to get feedback. I have annual meetings, many of them in person. Either I drive to their place or sometimes they'll come to the office in Topeka, but I have annual meetings with all of our Kansas domestic insurance companies. I also have annual meetings with our department employees. Those are one-on-one meetings, just myself and the employee around the time of their yearly anniversary, just to see how things are going and if they have any suggestions or criticisms of what we're doing. I have regular communication with the agents associations, especially during this time of the year. Those increase dramatically. And I have open office hours every week. These discussions have resulted in some outstanding ideas that have really helped overhaul outdated manual processes, streamline our services, and lower our fees. There is a more comprehensive list in your testimony of some of the efficiencies that have been implemented. They range from small things like sending things by email instead of letters to reduce our postage budget. It's amazing. People have these new things called email addresses, and we can use them. And posting title rates on our website to eliminate intensive open records requests. Before we posted those, we had so many open records requests for them. to large things like overhauling the licensing process and eliminating fees. I'd be happy to visit with you about anything on that list, but these efficiencies in total combined have reduced the cost of doing business in Kansas by $75 million. But I also have a unique budget situation to navigate. The department is a fully fee-funded agency, and we have a healthy ending balance. That ending balance is a result of large lawsuit settlements and an increase in the number of non-resident insurance agents and agencies, which started when folks began selling insurance online. My approach to the ending balance, which I would very much like to see smaller, is to reduce the revenue that's coming into the department. In order to do that, we've had to make some structural changes, like some of those I described earlier. This session, we have another round of proposals before the legislature. They include things like eliminating a portion of the premium taxes that are currently retained by the department. We have a bill to eliminate producer appointment renewal fees. We'd like to provide additional flexibility to the department to lower fees. We kind of had a pilot project a couple of years ago, which you approved, and that has been very successful, so we'd like to expand that to about 100 other fees. Creating new penalties for insurance fraud. One I'm really excited about is funding a real-time insurance verification system, which I think Kansas desperately needs. Establishing insurance savings account, and reducing the time companies have to respond to a consumer complaint to help resolve the issues faster. Efficiency at the department has come through hard work and a great team that I get to work with at the department. And I'm very proud of the work we do on behalf of Kansans every day. I want to thank the legislature profusely for the assistance in accomplishing so many of these things. These things could not be accomplished by, I don't have executive orders, but they can't be accomplished by me alone. It's a partnership with me working with the legislature, and I really thank you for that partnership. And I hope you'll support our agenda this year. And if you have any questions, please reach out to myself or any of the people there. The bottom line is we're going to continue recovering dollars for hardworking Kansans. We're going to make Kansas a better place to do business. And we're going to go after the bad guys, the fraudulent people, and we're also going to do it all while reducing the revenue that's coming into the department. And I'd be happy to stand for questions if you have any.
Thank you so much. Committee, what questions do we have? Senator Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Commissioner. In fact, I did have a constituent that had a trucking company, and they had a claim where the insurance company just absolutely refused to pay, and it got delayed so much that it affected their business. It was a big truck that needed fixing, and the insurance company refused to fix it. What kind of teeth do you have to deal with these bad actors who delay, they underpay, they refuse to, process claims? What kind of teeth do you have with regard to situations like that?
Well, I am their regulator. They are, I get to ask questions and they have to answer them. I mean, I've heard from companies that when they get a letter from the insurance department, they put it in a red folder, and that means somebody better be acting on it. We have a lot of teeth, and we have broad authority over them, and
Can you pull them out of the state?
Yes, we
In other words,
could.
Just say, listen.
That would be a last-ditch effort, but yes, we could. We also have a market regulation department. So if we see a company that is habitually delaying claims, and the same company, and we get a lot of complaints, this is why we need your complaints. We have the same companies that have a lot of complaints on, then we'll do a market regulation exam on them, which means we'll not only pull the files that we have complaints on, we will make them send other interactions that they've had with Kansas consumers, and we will determine if they're, and we can fine them for that. I mean, we have fining authority, we have broad authority in this.
Is there, Madam Chair, if I may, just one quick follow-up. Is there a database where people can see available on your website or something where people can see who has complaints filed against them and how many there are? So
we
you can
do.
kind of see a habitual bad offender and avoid those people?
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, sure.
Yes, Senator, we do have that on our website, and we also have a pamphlet on that we hand out, tons of those at the state fair. It's a consumer index of complaints of each company. The caution I would give is that you know, some companies write a lot of business in Kansas, so you would expect to see more complaints just on the percentage basis. You have to look at the percentage a little bit, but yes, we do have that on our website, and we also, like I said, have a booklet on that that we have about insurance in general. It helps define some of the terms that insurance companies use and things like that. You know. I encourage, I mean, you know, one of the things I talk a lot about is that we're an advocate for the consumer. But, you know, I always want to put a little footnote in there that we are an advocate for a couple of other entities also. We sometimes are an advocate for an agent. Maybe an agent sells you the policy. He is aware of the situation that has happened with the vehicle or with your house or whatever, and then he gets he wants the insurance company. He believes that the insurance company should pay, his employer should pay, but sometimes that employer is reticent to pay and not wanting to. I mean, then we become the advocate for that agent, right, and the consumer that are both trying to have a wrong corrected, and then. On the bad actor side, sometimes we have some consumers that don't behave, and then we become an advocate for the insurance company. But we have a lot of authority over them. It would be the market reg. We have fined companies before for market regulation violations. Sometimes we join with other states to do a broader exam of maybe like 10 states that join together and say, we're all having issues with a company, and we'll join together and do a really broad one. And again, fine them or do the appropriate action.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Senator Shane.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Schmidt, for coming in today and for sharing your efforts to help run a lean machine and work hard for the taxpayers of Kansas. Of course, this Senate committee, we're focused on government efficiency, but I think related to the industry that you help oversee and regulate, a lot of folks perceive or even live a life where there's a lot of inefficiencies even in the marketplace and their interactions, either trying to resolve their issues, meet their insurance needs, so on and so forth. Would you or your agency have ideas, opinions on how the legislature could help enact marketplace efficiencies and help the insurance industry work better for citizens?
Well, I think we already are doing that. We have communication, like I said, with all of our domestic companies and outside of that. I mean, I think we try very hard to make sure that we are efficient. One of the things you could help us do is with one of the bills we have this year that currently, it hasn't been updated for years and years, decades, that we allow, the law allows an insurance company to have 15 business days before they have to respond to an inquiry or to a complaint from us. And not an inquiry, but a complaint from us. And that's 3 weeks. So if I have a consumer that has been struggling with an issue for 6 months or more, which is not unusual, you might be able to ascertain what their attitude is when they call us. It's not always they're not always having a great day. And they call us and say, you know, they usually start it with something like, I know you probably can't help me, but I don't know what to, I didn't know what else to do, and I thought I'd give you a call. Well, that's when I like to say we become the referee in the match. But you know, and then they call in the next week, and we go, well, they have 3 weeks to respond. Well, that 3-week time period was back when we used snail mail for everything. We didn't have email. We didn't have all the things that we have. And now, you know, as soon as we have a complaint filed, we get the details, we get what we need, we send it to the company within minutes of getting a complete file. They have that, and the astounding thing to me was that we actually, you know, we try to give you facts instead of just anecdotal situations, and we actually went back for a period of time, and in that 15 business day time, over 70% of the companies waited until the 14th or 15th day to respond to us, even on simple little things. And sometimes, like in the health insurance world, we don't have authority over self-funded plans with the exception of the state employee health plan. They take 15 days to tell us that we don't have authority over them, because we don't always know whether they're self-funded, or we don't know the funding mechanisms because the people have just their insurance card, right? And it doesn't say on it, hey, insurance department does not have authority over this. So, you know, I mean, that is, and then we've delayed care for another 3 weeks in those situations, or you know, so we're asking you to decrease it from, pardon me, 15 business days to 14 calendar days, which would be 2 weeks. That is the agreement that we reached with the companies. I really I remember, I can't get rid of my experience of sitting in your seat, and I hated it when, I won't say hate, I disliked when somebody would come presenting before the committee, and then there would be the opposing testimony, and they wouldn't have even talked to each other. I dislike that. I think that wastes time. So we met with the trade agencies, the trade associations, with the insurance companies, and I won't say that I wanted a lesser time frame, but this is a compromise we agreed on. So I think that would help us a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Alley.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for being here again today. One of the things that we've seen lately is we've seen fires in California.
Yes.
We've seen the floods over in North Carolina and otherwhere. How does that affect our rates in Kansas?
It does not affect our rates directly. I would say that there are some indirect times that they come into, like the cost of reinsurance, because the cost of reinsurance that's controlled completely differently, and so the cost of reinsurance could affect those rates. But as far as the actual, as what's happening on the ground there and those claims, they do not affect us. But I'd like to say that I think you might be surprised to hear this. I was a little bit surprised to hear this, that, you know, I mean, one in the years of, I have to get the years right here, 18 to 23, the catastrophic losses due to high winds, tornadoes, derechos was more than hurricanes, flooding, and fires. So we have our share of catastrophic events right here in the Midwest.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Bellinger.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Vicki, good to see you again. Vicki and I were seatmates on the Senate floor for a long time.
Sometimes he would pull on my jacket and tell me to sit down. I didn't need to say that. And I appreciated every time he did that, because I maybe triggered a little soon. So thank you, Senator Bellinger.
Thank you, and congratulations on what you've been there 5 years, 6?
Yeah, is this my 7th year?
7. Wow, time flies.
Time flies.
You saved $144 million. That's great. And my question is since you've done that, have you been able to reduce your staff?
We have found, I would say we have found efficiencies. When I came into the department, it was fairly new that the securities division had come underneath the department. They'd been there a couple of years. They were in a separate location. So like we combined our HR, we combined payroll, we combined administration, comptroller, government affairs. But you know, I wouldn't say that we have really reduced the staff. We have not reduced the staff, but what we have done is we have made it more efficient, and we're doing more things with the staff we have. And in addition, in the Consumer Assistance Division, you can see how we've gone from 2 million to 11.8 million. We've recently added 2 more staff to help handle those calls. We are taking thousands of calls every year.
The other question is, you moved buildings. How's that worked out? And are we saving money by not owning the building you was in and renting? How's that working out? I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's working out a lot better for us. Within the build, we did move out of the Capitol complex. We were where the Beacon is now. That building was never meant to be an office building. We were on 3 floors. We had, well, 1 year alone, we had to replace the air conditioning coils, or that's not the exact term. It's a building that's really old, so it took a long time. But anyway, in maintenance alone, I mean, you know, we don't have those maintenance costs anymore. And so that has really been better for us. We have better parking. People didn't have anywhere to park to come in to see us. We didn't have handicap parking like we should. We have really, it is much nicer for us, and we are all contained in one building, and that has been really good for us. You know, we used to spend a lot of time going from 9th and Topeka Boulevard to 9th and Kansas, and on cold days walking through the Capitol. So.
How about your rents? Have they increased a lot? I mean, you've been there.
What?
Your rents, the rent?
Well, yeah, we have rent now, but we don't
No, but
have
I said,
maintenance.
has it increased?
Oh, has it increased? Yes, it did. It was on that was on the contract we signed every year.
Because we toured the highway patrol here a week or so ago, and their rent has really accelerated, and I didn't know if you was seeing that.
No, ours was in contractually when we signed.
And how many year was your contract?
Our contract is for 5 years.
5. Okay, good.
We had I think we had 3 years with 2 one-year extensions.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Holscher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have one question. I think I may have seen this before from your office or somewhere else, but have there been any studies on the impact of potentially of Medicaid expansion on private insurance premium rates, maybe in other states, but also maybe what it would do here if we had expansion? Medicaid expansion.
Oh, Medicaid expansion. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of that. I don't have any statistics on that. I haven't studied that issue, and I don't have any statistics on that.
Thank you.
Committee, any other questions? I just have a couple. First of all, I want to commend you and your staff for taking the initiative to look for efficiencies. This committee has heard that that isn't always the case, but I think leadership matters. I think, you know, priorities matter, and I just want to commend you on doing that, you know, taking the initiative to look for those efficiencies. So my question is there any reason why the attitude and the priorities and what you've done couldn't be replicated across other agencies and departments?
I wouldn't. I don't know what their roadblocks would be. You know, for me, one of the things that I inherited that I have kept and I will continue to keep as long as I'm there is we have real live people answering our telephones. When you call our office, you're not going to get an answering machine, and unless something has gone terribly wrong, the phone isn't going to just ring and ring and ring. And you know, even when we try to call some state agencies at times to help with an issue. We don't always find some people answering the phone, or we don't always find the ability to leave a message. And I think that's a minimum government can do. I like talking to real live people. I don't like punching numbers and continuing to say operator, operator, agent, agent, you know. I've got a problem. I think that, you know, to me, that I inherited that. It's not something I changed. But, you know, we even, we do allow, we have everybody in the office. Everybody is in the office Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Nobody can work remote on those 2 days. It's up to, I believe in empowerment of the people that work for the department, especially my directors. And I believe that it is up to them to decide what their people can, if their people can work remote or not. We do allow up to 2 days working remote. There are times in some of our areas where, due to the workload or due to something that is due, an impending deadline, the director will take away the work from home. It's a privilege. It's not guaranteed every week. And but even when our employees are working from home, we, through the computers and through the OITs, they answer their phones like they're at their desk, and they better be answering their phones when they're at home working remote. And we have not had we've not had issues with that. But you know, those are just simple things that we've done, and I don't know whether there would be barriers at other agencies, but I would be hard pressed to think of some.
Thank you. And I just want to also thank you for committee. In your packet, the department often provides these graphics, and I started sharing these in my newsletter and social media and got really positive response from constituents, because sometimes they're not aware, or who do I contact, how do I do that? I would encourage you, if you haven't, to use those graphics. They have been a really positive thing for my constituents. So thank you for providing those, Commissioner.
Well, I need to, Emma and Erica are here, and they are stand up, you guys, and these are our communications team, and they are the ones making those graphics, and they are incredibly talented, and I'm really fortunate to have them on staff. So, thank you.
And would you please, I know you have additional staff, would you please introduce your staff? I think they deserve credit, and we want to recognize them being here as well.
Seems like more snuck in since I started talking. Charlotte Daubert is our comptroller, also known as the wizard at our shop. Mandy Rowe is the chief of staff. I think you're familiar with her. If you don't know this next guy, Eric Turek, in government relations, I need to see you afterwards, because he tells me he's over here every day, and I'm pretty sure he is. And by the way, we need to talk afterwards, because somebody needs your help in this room. And then Erica, forgot your last name. Yeah, Erica Self. She might be related to somebody you know. And then Emma Milburn might be related to somebody you know there. And then, in their communications, and then Kyle Strothman is the deputy chief of staff. And these are a core piece of our team that work, especially with the legislature. And, you know, I sincerely mean it when I thank you for your, for working with us. I cherish the relationship that we have with legislators. I love it when you send us complaints and things, but I also like it when we're working legislation. And I do hope that each and every one of you know that you can call us anytime if you have suggestions for our bill. I always think that we introduce bills that are 100% the way that it should be done, and we're right on target. But I also know that any bill can be made better, and so I welcome your suggestions and certainly your inquiries if there's something in a bill that we didn't explain properly. So thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much for your time and for presenting what you guys are doing and letting us ask questions of you, and we appreciate all that you and your staff do.
Thank you.
Committee, we are not meeting Monday, but I do want to draw your attention, that is the last day to request bill introductions in non-exempt committees. So if you have anything, make sure you get those in. We are not planning on meeting Monday, so if you should have some, please see me and we will figure out a way to get those done. But I'm not anticipating any, but if there are some, please let me know. Tuesday, we will have a hearing, and so that will be our next meeting. Is there any other business before the committee? Seeing none, we are adjourned.